Playing with Power MTG. Powerful cards, powerful formats. Before we get into today's video, we wanted to give a shout out to our sponsor, HelloFresh. The holidays are around the corner, but HelloFresh is here to help. They deliver everything you need to cook up tasty meals right to your door, saving you tons of time. Time you can spend enjoying the holidays this year. The most wonderful time of the year is also the most delicious. Enjoy every bite of the holiday season with HelloFresh. Choose from over 45 weekly recipes and over 100 curated picks from the HelloFresh market. Ingredients travel from the farm to your door so you know they're fresh. HelloFresh is more than dinner. HelloFresh takes the hassle out of every mealtime with easy breakfasts, quick lunches, and snacks delivered to your door. The secret to a stress-free holiday season? HelloFresh. Skip the last-minute shopping trips and let HelloFresh deliver tasty recipes, quick meals, and party-ready treats right to your door. Get free breakfast for life with code POGPWP free at HelloFresh.com. One breakfast per item per box while your subscription is active. Click on the link in the description or scan the QR code with your phone. A big thanks to HelloFresh for sponsoring today's video. Now, let's start out by showcasing our fighters this evening. First, we have Zeb piloting Lotho, Corrupt Sheriff. This is an Aristocrats deck that seeks to grind advantage with its commander before winning through Blood Artist loops. Zeb's opening hand contains a Lotus Petal, Plains, City of Brass, Sacrifice, Buried Alive, Arid Mesa, and a Benny Brax Zoologist. Next, we have Alana piloting Elsha of the Infinite. This deck seeks to use its commander to infinitely cast from the top of the library and winning with Sensei's Divining Top. Alana's opening hand contains a Smothering Tithe, Fierce Guardianship, Mystical Tutor, Mana Crypt, Bloodstained Mire, Muddle the Mixture, and her London Mulligan is a Jace, Wielder of Mysteries. After that we have Emma piloting Niv-Mizzet Perun. This deck controls the board before resolving a Curiosity effect and pinging the table to death. Emma's opening hand contains a Mana Drain, Pongify, Flusterstorm, Misdirection, Exotic Orchard, Teleria West, and her London Mulligan is a Mystic Reflection. Finally, we have our Mox Pearl patron Nabil piloting Tayam, Luminous Enigma. This deck uses its commander to mill and recur from the graveyard while leveraging counters on creatures as synergies to win. Nabil's opening hand contains a Polluted Delta, Drenith Magistrate, 1000-Year Elixir, Esper Sentinel, Vampiric Tutor, Elves of Deep Shadow, and an Abrupt Decay. Without further ado, let's kick off this voracious, voluptuous volunteer voodoo. Zeb won the What the Fluff challenge and gets to start us off. Zeb draws a card for turn and plays an Arid Mesa. He cracks it, pays a life, and fetches up a Scrubland onto the battlefield. He casts a Lotus Petal. He cracks it to cast his commander, Lotho, Corrupt Sheriff. Zeb passes. Alana draws and plays a Bloodstained Mire. She cracks it, pays a life, and fetches up a Plateau onto the battlefield. She casts a Mana Crypt and passes the turn. Emma draws, plays an Exotic Orchard, and passes to Nabil. Nabil draws and plays a Polluted Delta. They crack it, pay a life, and fetch up a Bayou onto the battlefield. They cast a Mana Crypt. Nabil ends their turn. Zeb draws and plays a Polluted Delta. He cracks it, pays a life, and fetches up a Godless Shrine onto the battlefield untapped, paying 2 life. He moves to combat and attacks Nabil with Lotho. Nabil takes it, and Zeb ships the turn. During her upkeep, Alana wins her Mana Crypt roll. She draws and passes. Emma draws and plays a Teleria West into play tapped. She passes. At the end of Emma's turn, Nabil casts Vampiric Tutor. They fetch up a card onto the top of their library and lose 2 life. The turn moves to Nabil. During their upkeep, Nabil wins their Mana Crypt roll. Nabil draws and casts Wall of Roots. They add a counter to Wall of Roots, adding a green. They cast Elves of Deep Shadow. Lotho triggers and Zeb loses a life and creates a treasure. Nabil ends their turn. Zeb draws and plays a Plains. He casts Recruiter of the Guard. It enters and Zeb fetches up an Esper Sentinel into his hand. He casts Esper Sentinel. Lotho triggers and he loses a life and creates a treasure. Next, Zeb convokes Benny Brax, Zoologist. He moves to his end step, draws from Benny Brax, and the turn moves to Alana. During her upkeep, Alana wins her Mana Crypt roll. She draws, misses her land drop, and passes the turn. Emma draws and plays an Urza Saga, getting its first counter. She casts Dockside Extortionist. It enters and Emma creates 3 treasures. Emma ends her turn. During their upkeep, Nabil wins their Mana Crypt roll. Nabil draws and casts Expedition Map. Esper triggers and Nabil taps Elves of Deep Shadow to pay. They sack Expedition Map and fetch up a Savannah into their hand. They play Savannah for turn. They cast Esper Sentinel. Lotho triggers and Zeb loses a life and creates a treasure. Nabil passes. At the end of Nabil's turn, Zeb draws a card from Benny Brax. Zeb draws and plays a City of Brass. He casts a Mana Crypt, paying for Esper. He casts Buried Alive. Lotho triggers and Zeb loses a life and creates a treasure. In response, Emma casts Mana Drain. Esper triggers and Zeb and Nabil draw. Then Mana Drain counters Buried Alive. Next, Zeb casts Sacrifice, sacrificing Recruiter of the Guard as an additional cost, adding 3 black. He casts Animate Dead. It enters and Zeb returns Recruiter of the Guard onto the battlefield. It enters and Zeb fetches up a Lurrus of the Dream Den into his hand. He casts Lurrus. He casts Lotus Petal from his graveyard through Lurrus. Zeb moves to his end step, draws from Benny Brax, and passes to Alana. During her upkeep, Alana wins her Mana Crypt roll. She draws and casts a Grinding Station. Esper triggers and Zeb and Nabil draw. She activates Grinding Station, sacrificing itself and milling 3. Alana ships the turn. Emma draws, and in her first main phase, Urza Saga gets another counter. She also adds 3 colorless through Mana Drain. She casts Ponder. Esper triggers, and Zeb and Nabil draw. Then Emma looks at the top 3, rearranges, and draws. She plays a mountain for turn. Emma passes. During their upkeep, Nabil wins their mana crypt roll. Nabil draws and plays a Wooded Foothills. They crack it, pay a life, and fetch up a Temple Garden onto the battlefield untapped, paying 2 life. Nabil taps Elves of Deep Shadow to help cast their commander, Tayam, Luminous Enigma. They add a counter to Wall of Roots, adding a green. Nabil ships the turn to Zeb. During his upkeep, Zeb loses his mana crypt flip and takes 3 damage. He draws and casts Demonic Tutor, paying for Esper. He fetches up a card into his hand. He plays a Marsh Flats for turn. He cracks it, pays a life, and fetches up a Swamp onto the battlefield. He taps his City of Brass to help cast Abdel Adrian, Gorian's Ward. Lotho triggers and Zeb loses a life and creates a treasure. Abdel enters and Zeb exiles Mana Crypt and Recruiter of the Guard, creating 2 soldiers. He casts a Lotus Petal from his graveyard through Lurrus. In response, Emma casts Pongify, targeting Lurrus. Esper triggers, Emma pays for Zeb, and Nabil draws. Then Lurrus is destroyed and Zeb creates an ape. With nothing else, Zeb moves to his end step, draws from Benny Brax, and ships the turn to Alana. During her upkeep, Alana wins her Mana Crypt roll. She draws and casts Cursed Mirror. Esper triggers and Zeb and Nabil draw. It enters as a copy of Dockside Extortionist. Dockside enters and Alana creates 8 treasures. She casts Smothering Tithe. Lotho triggers and Zeb loses a life and creates a treasure. Alana passes the turn. Emma draws and pays for Smothering Tithe. In her main phase, Urza Saga triggers. Emma sacrifices it, fetching up a Jeweled Lotus onto the battlefield. She plays a Shattered Skull to hammer pass and to play untapped, paying 3 life. She cracks her Lotus to help cast her commander, Niv-Mizzet Perun. Emma passes. At the end of Emma's turn, Nabil adds a counter to Wall of Roots, adding a green. They activate Tayam, removing 3 counters from Wall of Roots, milling 3, and returning Tyvar, Jubilant Brawler, to the battlefield. The turn moves to Nabil. During their upkeep, Nabil loses their Mana Crypt roll and takes 3 damage. They draw, Tithe triggers, and Alana creates a treasure. In their main phase, Nabil casts a Soul Ring, paying the Esper tax. They cast a Cation Money Changer. Lotho triggers, and Zeb loses a life and creates a treasure. In response, Alana casts Soul Partition, targeting Tayam. Esper, and Niv trigger. They each draw, Smothering Tide triggers, and Alana creates 3 treasures. Niv triggers and deals 1 to Lotho, killing it. Then Tayam is exiled, Money Changer enters, gets 3 counters, and deals 3 damage to Nabil. Next, Nabil activates Tybar's second ability, milling 3 and returning Devoted Druid to the battlefield. They add a counter to Wall of Roots, adding a green. They cast 1000-Year Elixir. Nabil passes the turn. Zeb draws, Tide triggers, and Alana creates a treasure. Zeb plays a Silent Clearing for turn. He casts Eldrazi Displacer. He casts Mox Amber, paying for Esper. He taps City of Brass to help cast Kambal, Console of Allocation. He moves to combat and attacks Nabil for 12. Nabil takes it, and Zeb passes. At the end of Zeb's turn, Alana casts Mystical Tutor. Niv-Mizzet, Esper, and Kambal all trigger. Alana loses 2 life and Zeb gains 2 life. Zeb draws, Tide triggers, Alana creates a treasure, Nabil draws, Tide triggers again, Nabil pays, Emma draws, Niv and Tide trigger, Alana creates a treasure, and Niv pings Nabil's Esper Sentinel, killing it. Then Alana fetches up a Wheel of Fortune onto the top of her library. The turn moves to Alana. During her upkeep, Alana loses her Mana Crypt roll and takes 3 damage. She draws and casts her commander, Elsha of the Infinite. In response, Zeb casts Reprieve. Niv triggers, and in response, Alana casts Swansong, targeting Reprieve. Niv, Esper, and Kambal trigger. Alana loses 2 and Zeb gains 2. Zeb draws through Esper. Tide triggers. Alana creates a treasure. Emma draws. Niv and Tide trigger. Alana creates a treasure again. Then Niv pings Devoted Druid. Then Swansong counters Reprieve. Zeb creates a 2/2 bird. Emma draws through Niv. Alana creates a treasure. Then Niv pings Devoted Druid, killing it. Then finally, Elsha resolves. Next, Alana casts Jessica's Will from the top of her library through Elsha. Elsha, Niv, and Kambal trigger. Alana loses 2 and Zeb gains 2. Emma draws. Alana creates a treasure. Niv pings Esper Sentinel, killing it, and Elsha gets +1/+1. In response, Emma casts Mindbreak Trap for its alternate cost, targeting Jessica's Will. Niv and Kambal trigger. Emma loses 2 and Zeb gains 2. Emma draws and pings Elsha. In response, Alana casts Fierce Guardianship for its alternate cost, targeting Mindbreak Trap. Niv and Kambal trigger. Alana loses 2 and Zeb gains 2. Emma draws through Niv. Alana creates a treasure through Tithe, and Niv pings Elsha for 1. In response, Emma casts Misdirection for its alternate cost, exiling a blue card, targeting Fierce. Niv and Kambal trigger. Emma loses 2 and Zeb gains 2. Emma draws, Tide triggers, Alana creates a treasure, and Niv pings Elsha. In response, Nabil taps his Elves of Deep Shadow and pays 4 life to help cast Dismember, targeting Niv-Mizzet. Kambal and Niv trigger. Emma draws, Alana creates a treasure through Tithe, then Nabil loses 2 and Zeb gains 2. In response, Emma casts Miscast, targeting Dismember. Niv and Kambal trigger. Emma loses 2 and Zeb gains 2. Emma draws, Alana creates a treasure, and Niv pings Elsha. In response, Alana casts Muddle the Mixture, targeting Miscast. Elsha, Niv, and Kambal trigger. Alana loses 2 and Zeb gains 2. Emma draws, Alana creates a treasure, Niv pings Elsha, and with the Elsha Prowess trigger still in the stack, Emma casts Fierce Guardianship for its alternate cost, targeting Muddle the Mixture. Niv and Kambal trigger. And in response, Nabil adds a counter to Wall of Roots, adding a green. They channel Beseiju, who endures, targeting Smothering Tithe. Tithe is destroyed and Alana fetches up a volcanic island onto the battlefield. Then Emma loses 2 and Zeb gains 2, Emma draws through Niv and then pings Elsha. In response, Emma casts Lightning Bolt targeting Kumbal. Niv and Kumbal trigger, Emma loses 2 and Zeb gains 2, Emma draws and Niv triggers targeting Elsha. In response, Alana casts Izzet Signet through Elsha. Elsha and Kumbal trigger, Alana loses 2 and Zeb gains 2, then Elsha gets +1/+1. Signet resolves, then Niv pings Elsha, then Lightning Bolt kills Kumbal. Then Fierce counters Muddle, Elsha gets +1/+1, Miscast counters Dismember, and with Misdirection still on the stack, Alana casts Underworld Breach off of the top of her library through Elsha. Elsha triggers and gets +1/+1. With no other answers, Breach resolves. Alana escapes Swan Song, targeting Misdirection. Elsha and Niv trigger, Emma draws, Niv pings Alana, and Elsha gets +1/+1. Then Swan Song counters Misdirection, Emma creates a 2/2 bird, Fierce counters Mindbreak Trap, and after all of that, Jessica's will finally resolves. Alana adds 10 red and exiles Rhystic Study, Savine's Reclamation, and Unwinding Clock. Alana escapes Soul Partition, targeting Niv. Niv triggers, Emma draws, pings Alana, then Niv is exiled. Alana escapes Grinding Station. It enters, triggers, and in response, Alana activates Grinding Station, sacrificing Mana Crypt, milling 3. Then Grinding Station untaps. Alana presents a loop of escaping Mana Crypt, tapping it for mana, then sacking it to Grinding Station, milling 3. She does this over and over until she mills Mox Opal. She repeats this process with Mox Opal, tapping it for blue. She mills her entire deck. She casts Jace, Wielder of Mysteries from her hand. She activates Jace's first ability, attempts to draw from an empty library, and Alana wins the game. Ladies and gentlemen, what an amazing game tonight. Congrats to Alana on her win. At first she thought she was out of the game when she was missing her land drops. However, all it took was one spell to get back into the game. She was able to navigate the stack very well and piloted her way to victory. The most valuable card in tonight's game, sponsored by Luxury Playstyle, goes to Smothering Tithe. Once this enchantment hit the battlefield, Alana was immediately catapulted into the game. The repeated draws from Emma's Niv gave Alana all the mana she needed to keep interacting through the crazy stack at the end. It is a staple in Commander, and it is a shame more people don't run this card in CEDH. Well, that about wraps it up for this episode. Tune in next time when we duke it out to see who will be king of the competitive EDH table. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.